Hello, and thank you for joining us today for the Colonial Life Voluntary Benefit presentation. My name is Jose Rodriguez, and I'm part of your benefits team. Before we begin and I introduce our presenter, I would like to go over a few housekeeping rules and the presentation format. If you're calling in using the conference ID option, we would like to ask you to mute your device if you haven't done so already. Our live event is scheduled for an hour. The first half will consist of the vendor presentation and then followed by the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please submit them using the Q&A section on Teams. For individuals who called in, your questions will be taken at the end once we finish with the written questions. Let's go ahead and begin today's live event. And our presenter is Don Peck, our Colonial Life Public Sector Specialist. Go ahead, Don.
Okay, thanks, Jose. So thanks everybody for spending some time Friday afternoon with us. I know with all the current events that benefits are becoming more and more important, and the focus on them is probably a little sharper than it's been in times past. So we do appreciate it. You guys have a great benefit package through the city of Tucson, and the core benefits, the medical, the dental, the vision, those benefits are kind of I don't want to say one size fits all, but they kind of are. I mean, there's a general need for those kind of benefits from just about everybody. Where my company comes in, and you can change slides, Jose. Where my company comes in is on the voluntary end. The voluntary benefits are basically going to allow you to customize some benefits to fit with the rest of your city benefits, allowing you to make them fit your personal situation, because none of us is in the exact same situation. And can you switch slides, Jose? Number 2.
Yes, go ahead.
There we go. You got it. Again, voluntary benefits aren't designed to replace or change anything you currently have. It's designed to work with what you have to make it stronger and make it a little more personal so that the benefits can be tailored to your individual situations. And the biggest difference between a Colonial benefit and about any other benefit you have through the city is we pay you directly. Okay, we aren't trying to cover a doctor bill or a hospital bill. We're trying to put money in your pocket individually so you have the money for copays and deductibles and out-of-pocket stuff that can't be covered by health insurance, and or in a lot of cases rent and groceries and things that you're personally on the hook for. The checks actually come to you, so very, very different than your medical or your dental plan is structured. So again, the benefits that you receive from us are paid to you direct. Use them any way you wish. We don't steer it. It's completely up to you. I know that if there's a doctor bill on the counter and the fridge needs groceries, the grocery store is going to get it every time, and that's the way it should be. Any coverage that you have through Colonial, one of the strongest things about it is that you can take it with you if you change jobs or retire. It's at the same cost. The coverage doesn't change. The price doesn't change. The only thing that changes is how you might pay for it. Can you flip this next slide, Jose? Can you flip that slide, Jose?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, there we go, page 4. All right, the benefits that Colonial offers through the city are short-term disability, accident insurance, whole life insurance, cancer insurance, critical illness insurance, and hospital confinement indemnity insurance, also known as Medical Bridge in the city. That's a program that pays for you being in the hospital. So one more slide, Jose. Now, a couple of these benefits, in particular this year, aiming at, again, current events with the pandemic, are being done on a guaranteed issue basis. So you can purchase some coverage that normally you would have to go through health underwriting to get, and you can get it with no questions right now. Probably the most because you didn't work. Now, a short-term disability policy needs to be built around a couple of things. First and foremost, if you have the city's long-term disability buy-up, you need to choose a 3-month option. So when you talk to a rep or in a virtual meeting, you need to let them know that you've done that because they want to make sure and tailor that our benefit to kind of dovetail with what the city's long-term disability is. The amount of benefit can be anything up to $4,000 a month under the guaranteed issue premise. The elimination period is something that you will choose. And again, we would ask that you have a talk with a representative about how much sick leave you have in play, because the elimination period is going to significantly impact your rates. The rates, when you build the program at whatever age you are now, they're locked in forever. So we want it to be as close to perfect as we can going in. You can make changes down the road, but it would be at a different age. So again, if we can make it fit for a long term, you definitely benefit by that from an age standpoint. But the factors that will impact your rates on a short-term disability are how much income you want to cover, because although you can cover up to 60%, you don't have to cover 60%. You can choose an amount. For instance, if you just wanted to cover a mortgage payment or a car payment and choose that amount. So any amount up to 60% will be payable either on a 3-month or a 6-month basis. And the elimination period, in other words, when it kicks in up front, is something that you choose. It can be first day for injury. It could be 7th, 14th, or 30-day elimination on illnesses. That's up to you. And again, based on the amount of sick time or PTO that you have built up, that's basically what's going to determine which benefit you should, or which elimination period you should take. But again, all the money that's paid is paid to you. You pick and choose where it goes. Totally up to you. And the question that we're getting now is coronavirus covered? And yes, of course, just like any other sickness, it would be covered. So very powerful stuff. Most important asset you have is the ability to earn an income. Without that, everything else goes away. So typically when you talk to one of my reps or have a virtual meeting, this is probably where we're going to start, unless you ask us to start elsewhere. This is kind of the backbone of what we do for the city. So very, very powerful stuff and very important right now. Can you flip the next slide, Jose? The next coverage is accident coverage, and that pays benefits based on somebody being injured. The more serious the injury or the treatment or the number of treatments, the bigger the claim is going to be. Again, what this one's trying to do, unlike the short term where it's trying to cover an income, this one's directly aimed at injuries. It could be something as simple as a sprained ankle, and you end up in the emergency room or the urgent care. They wrap it up, send you home, you go to see your doc in a week, everything's good. Even in that situation, there's a couple $100s that are going to be paid out, which can definitely help toward, again, co-pays and deductibles that we're all exposed to today. But it could be something a lot more serious. It could be a car accident. It could be somebody falling off a horse. It could be broken bones. Again, the bigger the injury and the more treatments, the bigger the claim is going to get. But again, that one's aimed almost exclusively at helping you with those out-of-pocket costs that every one of us is subject to. The accident plan can be on you and a spouse, can be on you and kids, or you can choose just to insure you and kids. You don't have to insure a spouse on that one. So very inexpensive coverage, probably second most popular program we do for the city is the accident coverage. So very, very popular stuff and very inexpensive. So you might want to take a look at that one. The next slide is whole life insurance. The whole life insurance, like the short-term disability, is being offered on a guaranteed issue basis during this open enrollment. Based on age and face amount, it's going to vary a little bit depending on what you're eligible for, but the whole life insurance is a very important component of a person's life insurance, because this is one, again, that you can take, just like all of them, but you can take when you leave the city. The group term life insurance that you have through the city is extremely inexpensive, and you can buy serious face amounts for very affordable premiums. But you will notice as you get older, that one's going to go up, and if you retire and take that one with you, it's going to go up pretty drastically. So although that should be the, again, backbone of your life insurance coverage for most people, because it is remarkably inexpensive for the amount of coverage you get compared to what you could get on the private market. A whole life insurance policy, albeit typically a lot smaller, is something that you can purchase while you're working for the city. It becomes part of your life insurance program, and when you leave, you can take it with you at the same cost. That can also be done on spouses and kids, and again, that one's done on a guaranteed issue basis. I don't care what your health conditions are. As long as you're actively at work, you can get it. That's the only requirement. So very, very nice stuff. And it is a cash value type policy, so it will build cash value over time, which the rep can show you when they sit down with you or at a virtual presentation. Okay, the next slide is cancer insurance. Cancer insurance is very specific. It's aiming at, again, out-of-pocket costs associated with cancer. But unlike a typical sprained ankle, a lot of times when it comes to cancer, there's travel involved. Okay, you may have a recommendation that your doctor wants to see you at the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix. Well, that means hotel bills. That means travel bills. So in addition to all the out-of-pocket costs, you have serious exposure to day-to-day things that happen that your health insurance just can't step in and do. Okay, and at least as important as that is the cancer plan pays benefits that allows you some freedom when making some medical decisions. So if you decided to go to a provider of your choice, it doesn't become a monetary thing. You don't have to make that a financial decision. We're trying to take that out of it, so it just becomes a what's best for you situation. Cancer plans have wellness benefits that once a year when you go to the doctor, have a wellness screening, in this case cancer-based, so things like mammograms, pap smears, PSAs, all the typical cancer screenings, that they're going to give you somewhere between $50 and $100 back, depending on which version of the program you're on. If you've had one for a while, it's probably $50. The new version is $100. And we're just trying to get you to the doctor. We realize that your health insurance plan is going to pay that. There's not a lot of out-of-pocket exposure. There's no out-of-pocket exposure for that on your health plan, but we are trying to incentivize people to get in and get those tests. They are powerful. They are important. And most importantly, if you have multiple people on the program, it will pay a pretty fair share of your premium every year just for going and getting a wellness screening. So definitely worthwhile. Your short-term disability also can have a wellness screening attached to it, but that's something you choose to have in addition to the short-term. Now, cancer plans, again, guaranteed issue, basic questions, or the only question is, have you had cancer in the last 5 years? Good coverage, relatively inexpensive, and you can do a lot of customization with options that would put some initial dollars in your pocket if you were to be diagnosed with an internal cancer, because the exposure to your deductible is probably never more pronounced than it is with something like a cancer diagnosis. And not just for this year, probably for the next 4, 5, 6 years, you're going to be exposed to some testing and some ongoing treatments that will be expensive, and a cancer plan is really valuable in that situation. And I don't know if anybody knows somebody who's had it directly or seen it. It is a really devastating blow to a lot of people, and a cancer plan can soften the financial part of it, hopefully allowing you to focus on the rest of it, the treatment and getting better and dealing with it. Okay, and second to last is the critical illness policy. That is a policy similar to life insurance in that it's going to pay a set amount or a face amount that you choose between $5,000 and $40,000. And if one of about 7 different events, or actually about 10 different events, happens, you will get that amount of money that you decided upon up front. And could you flip the slide for me real quick, Jose? Oh, one quick note about the cancer policy. It also pays for a cancer vaccine. If any of you have kids, the HPV vaccine is kind of expensive, and our health insurance did a pretty good job with it, but we were still out of pocket about $150. So cancer plan with that wellness or that vaccine benefit is pretty slick. Now, again, a critical illness policy. If you were to have a heart attack or a stroke, major organ failure, in other words, needing replacement, end-stage renal failure, permanent paralysis due to a covered accident, coma, blindness, occupational infectious HIV, sorry, there's a typo there, spell check didn't get that one, HIV or occupational infectious hepatitis, B, C, or D, that policy would pay out whatever amount you chose as a face amount, between $5,000 and $40,000. Again, similar to cancer, when one of these events hits, they don't just tend to hit the budget once. They tend to hit it for a couple of years. You're going to be exposed to some out-of-pocket medical expenses that it's nice to have something that will put those back in your pocket. Very straightforward program, relatively new to the insurance industry. It's only been around for about 20 years, but it's kind of taken everything by storm because it is really powerful. And if you're young and a non-smoker, this one also has wellness benefits. So young non-smokers, typically their wellness benefit is going to be equal to or greater than the premium that they pay all year. So you can literally pick this program up, and as long as you go to the doctor once a year and have a screening, you're actually going to make a little money on it. So definitely something you want to look at. It's, like I said, it's kind of taken the world by storm in the last 20 years, and very, very powerful way to put money in your pocket in a really difficult situation. Okay. Last but not least is the hospital confinement indemnity insurance, which if you've ever sat with one of our reps, they would refer to it as medical bridge. And what that's going to do is pay you an inpatient benefit. So if you're admitted to the hospital or 21 and a half hours or longer, you will get $500, $1,000, or $1,500 benefit, whichever amount you choose, again, aimed at trying to put your deductible back in your pocket. Because if you do have exposure to inpatient hospital treatment, you will absolutely get to meet your deductible in a hurry. So nice way to put some dollars back in your pocket. Next slide, please. The short-term critical illness, cancer, and accident policies all are going to have wellness benefits attached to them, as I talked about earlier, ranging from $50 to $100. So if you currently have coverage and you don't know how to file a wellness claim, the last slide is going to be all my contact information. Please write it down. You can submit it directly through the home office. You don't have to do any paperwork. It takes about 2 minutes to go online and do it. So I would highly recommend it. And the wellness benefits put a pretty sizable amount of your premium back in your pockets every year just for going and doing what we should already be doing. So if you have wellness benefits or you currently have coverage with me or with us, if you don't know how to do it or don't know if you have it, please call me. My number will be at the end, as will my email address. I'd love to hear from you. So if you already have Colonial Life, next slide, please. The opportunity to review with all that's going on is probably a great idea. It doesn't take but a couple minutes. We can make sure that your short-term disability is set up the way you like it and that you have an amount that's appropriate for the income where you're at now. If it's been 10 or 12 years since you've done it, your income has probably changed a little bit, and it's worthwhile to take a couple minutes and just make sure that it's exactly where you want it to be before you need it. If you've had a lifestyle change lately, had kids, been married, gotten divorced, you definitely need to reach out to us because we need to make adjustments for including everybody we should or removing somebody if not. The 800 number at the bottom of this page is to our home office customer service department. They can handle claims. They can handle questions. They can handle pretty much anything you need. They're open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So they're open really early here for us, but they close a little early too. Actually, they're open until 5 o'clock Arizona time. But they're there all the time. If you can't catch me or one of your normal reps, that's a great way to be in touch with somebody who can help you immediately. The website there is will offer you the opportunity to file a claim online. So if you haven't gone out and registered your existing policies, I would highly recommend doing that at, again, www.coloniallife.com. It takes about 30 seconds to register. They basically need your name, social, and birthday. They'll pull up all your policies, and they'll immediately give you an opportunity to file a claim if you need to do that. Again, all claims can be done electronically. We don't have to have paper anymore. You can submit paper, obviously. You can attach all of your documents by taking a picture of them with your phone and attaching it to a claim. So it's a very simple process, very quick. The wellness benefits in most cases are paid overnight. So if you submit a claim before they close on a Tuesday, you're usually going to get a call on a Wednesday morning that the check is being sent out that day. So very quick. And again, highly, highly recommend grabbing your wellness benefits. Only about 25% of people who should get wellness benefits actually claim for them. So I don't mean to harp on that, but it is kind of important and it is a big part of your premiums you should be getting back. So wellness benefits are great. So next, what happens next? You have, I'm going to send you, we're going to show you a link in a second, and if you email me if you don't have it, I can get a virtual meeting link out to you so you can have an opportunity to sit down and talk with a representative. But I highly recommend looking at a couple things before you sit down with the rep. And if you could change the next slide, that would be great, Jose. First question is, can I manage without a paycheck for an amount of time after my sick leave until my long-term kicks in? If not, then short-term disability may be a great thing to consider. Sitting down and covering what coverages you do have would be first thing. Again, even if you did it just last year, it takes 5 minutes, very beneficial. We'll make sure everything's lined up. And again, if you've had a lifestyle change or a lifestyle event, please don't hesitate to sit down with us and make sure that all your coverages have the right people covered and not somebody that shouldn't. Now, the link, the picture you're seeing now is just a link to the virtual website or the virtual meeting site. You should have all gotten one of those in your email, but if we can go to the next slide real quick, you will see my contact information, and my contact information is on that link, phone number and email. But when this meeting's done, if you need to reach out, you can reach out to my email if you want a virtual meeting link, and I can send one of those to you immediately. And my phone number is at the bottom. It is 602-433-8144. I can answer any questions. The link that Jose is showing you right now, in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see a button that says Schedule a Meeting. Click on that, enter your name, your email, and your phone number, and a calendar will pop up with meeting times from usually 7 in the morning until about 7 at night. We have plenty of meeting space still available for next week, and that will run through June 15th. We even have times on both Saturdays. So if you'd like to sit down and do this with a spouse and make decisions together, we would love to see that. So we're trying to accommodate as much as we can on the time frame to open up the doors for as many people as possible to do this at at their most beneficial time and have the people that they need to have there with them. So I haven't seen any questions pop up. Have you, Jose?
No, we don't have any questions so far.
Wow. Okay, well, my slide portion is done. I'm ready for questions if they have any. Yeah, do please leave that slide up so if they need to copy down my email or phone number.
Yes, that's the slide we're on with
Yep.
your email and phone number. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it. And I just got 3 emails, so somebody's doing something.
Yeah, yes, we have about 20 attendees, so definitely now's your time if you have any questions. For Dawn, we're definitely open.
Hi, Don. There's a question that we have. Does Colonial Life Insurance cover pre-existing conditions? If not, what is the waiting period for coverage?
Well, it depends on the policy. If it's an accident, it has to happen while the coverage is in force. But on a short-term disability or critical illness policy, it's pretty simple. It's 12 months look back. So it's what they call a 12-12 pre-X. So anything you've been treated in the 12 months prior to the policy taking effect won't be covered for the first 12 months you're on it, but then will become covered. But really, really important to consider right now, those of us that have pre-existing conditions, I'm pretty public about it. I'm a diabetic. So getting these kind of coverages while they're on a guaranteed issue basis, even though it may not cover a specific thing right away, the fact that at some point that thing will be covered is really, a powerful tool right now. And I would highly recommend somebody not missing that opportunity, because if somebody has something that has made it difficult for them to get either life insurance or any kind of insurance in the past, one of the biggest benefits they have working for the city is that companies like ours open that guaranteed window up. It's not available to them in the open market. That just doesn't happen. So your strong benefits package, I mean, we want them to take full advantage of it and not miss an opportunity. Does that answer it?
Hope so. We don't have any other questions at the moment. If anybody else has a question, feel free to go ahead and post that on the Q&A.
Now, can I add one more thing, Ashley? When it comes to pre-X, obviously don't anybody throw anything out there public medical wise, but if you have something very specific or specific to you, feel free to call me privately. Just, you've got my phone number there. I'll be glad to talk to you, and I can address individual situations with each person that or any person that calls in.
I have a question, Don.
Okay.
I noticed with the short-term disability, you mentioned that there was different plans with like a 7, I believe, 14, and a 30-day waiting period.
Yes.
Is it fairly easy, or are employees able to change plans?
Yes. Once a year during open enrollment, they have that opportunity to change. Now, whether or not it's going to be guaranteed issue is different based on the year. Typically, every 5 years during RFP, they open the window up for everybody, but they typically don't offer it past that. They're doing it now, or Colonial's doing it special now because of what's going on with COVID-19. We realize that people are laser focused on what benefits they have, especially those benefits that'll take care of them if they can't work for 3, 4, 5 weeks. Short-term disability needs to be an option for people to have. So they've opened up the window, even though they typically wouldn't do it until next year. But they do have the opportunity now. But yes, they can make those changes year to year. And if their health hasn't changed, it's incredibly simple to do it. It's just sitting down with a rep. But there'll be times when a person has something going on in their life that we might recommend they not make a change, because we know they have the coverage they need that's going to cover them. So it doesn't always make sense to make a change. But yes, we would like to see you move your elimination period up and save some money as you build sick hours.
Thank you for the information, Don. We don't have any other questions for now, so I think we can conclude this for today. Again, this will be posted on the city's website. There will be the links for this presentation on there. If anybody needs to get in touch with you, it looks like they will have your information there as well. So Jose and I and Don, we all just want to thank you all for attending today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Don Peck, or you can also reach the benefits office at the 791-4597 number. Jose, did you have anything else?
No, I think we're good. Just mainly that any changes that are made during open enrollment do become effective July 1st. And as you know, open enrollment is June 1st through June 15th. And that's all I have.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for hanging out.
Okay.
Thanks, Don.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.